This week in Jamaica Now. A political pounding. JLP delivers 49-14 seat victory over the People's National Party. Bunting stunted. Dayton dumped. The Comrade leader is resigning. The Prime Minister says there is no cause for celebration.
No one won because of them or on their own.
How the COVID numbers surged this week and deaths too. Then, a dramatic turn of events, how an armed robbery ended in embarrassment for the police. And a Jamaican sentenced in the US for lottery scamming. I'm Damian Mitchell and this is Jamaica Now. The Jamaica Labour Party on Thursday trounced the People's National Party 49-14 in Jamaica's 18th general election since 1944. It's a defeat that has left the PNP flattened and the JLP leader Andrew Holness somber. Among the shock results, a complete reversal of the balance of power in Westmoreland. All seats in that parish have gone to the JLP. And in Manchester, a complete turnaround. All but one seat are now controlled by the Jamaica Labour Party. Incumbent Manchester Central MP Peter Bunting was stunted by newcomer Rhoda Crawford. Over in St. Anne, the powerful Dr Dayton Campbell was dumped. In his acceptance speech, a somber-sounding Andrew Holness said there was no cause for celebration but for consideration. Mr. Holness also said he took seriously what he called the burden of leadership.
Getting this massive mandate, some people may view it as their victory. And I want it to be clear from the outset that no one won because of them or on their own. They won because the people of Jamaica believed in the message of the Jamaica Labour Party and its vision.
And a day later, the PNP president, Dr Peter Phillips, arrived at the party headquarters to dejected supporters. Phillips announced that he had written to the party chairman, Fitzjackson, indicating that he was stepping down as opposition leader and as party president.
I have had, over these past 4 decades, a tremendous opportunity to serve my country and my party in giving public service. And I relish this and certainly will do all I can to ensure a smooth transition of the leadership of the party and a swift rebuilding of the People's National Party.
The PNP chairman, Fitzjackson, says as soon as the leadership transition is completed, he too will make a decision on his future.
I have a responsibility to make sure that the party remains vibrant, the necessary restructuring, refocusing, etc. that need to be done is put in motion. When that exercise is complete, then I will give consideration to my own role.
In other news, the Health Ministry has warned that new measures are coming on Monday as the government moves to contain what it calls a community spread of the coronavirus. Health Minister Dr Christopher Tufton said the country can expect the number of COVID cases to increase over the next 6 to 8 weeks. According to Dr Tufton, the country should also expect further restrictions, including tighter curfews, stay-at-home orders for the elderly, emphasis on work-from-home orders, and a reduction in the number of persons allowed at funerals. Meanwhile, Tufton has cited concerns with the rate of transmission in the more affluent communities of the corporate area.
The Kingston 6s and the Kingston 8s and so on, 7s, have to be very careful because we are seeing evidence of the spread in those communities that is worrying and could have implications for your own personal health and wellness. I guess I could say it without hopefully hopefully not offending anyone, but some of the house parties and the home gatherings and so on, you are as vulnerable And we're seeing evidence that those vulnerabilities are playing out.
And the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office this week removed Jamaica from the list of Caribbean countries from which British citizens will now have to undergo a mandatory 14-day quarantine when they return home. The office has also issued a general warning to its citizens against all non-essential travel. Meanwhile, Jamaicans returning home from America say they are being scorned when they arrived in the island. The non-resident Jamaicans, who say they have mostly received this maltreatment in their communities, say they are accustomed to getting a warmer treatment when they return home. Two of the visitors who spoke with the Gleaner said they were visiting the island for funerals. Reggae artist Frederick Toots Hibberts was this week hospitalized with respiratory complaints. Toots is now in a medically induced coma. Hibberts, who is 78, was transferred from a private hospital to the University Hospital of the West Indies following Monday's revelation that he was awaiting a COVID-19 test. This week, former Clarendon South East MP Roddy Spencer was also hospitalized after suffering a stroke. The former politician is now a deputy chairman at the Industrial Disputes Tribunal. A Jamaican man has been sentenced to 5 years and 6 months in federal prison in the United States for running a lottery scam scheme in Florida and Jamaica. Last November, the convict, Darrell Cleon Forbes, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. For 2 years, Forbes and his co-conspirators posed as FBI and Department of Treasury officials, falsely informing victims in the U.S. that they had won a prize in the sweepstakes. They told the victims that they had to pay various fees and taxes to retrieve their prize. A federal judge in Jacksonville had ordered the state to forfeit $2.4 million and for Forbes to pay $1.1 million in restitution. The scammers often targeted the elderly. The Jamaican police were left embarrassed on Wednesday after responding to what they called a hostage situation at a ready cash outlet in Junction, St. Elizabeth. But it turned out that at the time the police arrived at the location, the robbers had long left. The police had initially reported that the robbers were caught. However, they later announced that they had left the scene before the police arrived. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications and subscribe today. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, more from election 2020 in Jamaica.
Continue to ensure that distance is maintained so that we do not facilitate the spread of the COVID-19 virus during this very important process.
In 1969, every election run me vote.
Today I will watch our now. And in our move.
I chose to vote for Jamaica Labour Party because the future is brighter with the Jamaica Labour Party.
I believe that this party is a better party.
I wasn't going to vote at all, but when I heard that there's an independent candidate on this ticket, I decided to get up and be a part of the process.
I say 100%, me I say 100.999, now 1.9 go back high.
And when I sweet this election, this